Meeting of the Funding Committee of the City Bridge Foundation Board. My name's Callum and I'll be clerking this meeting. The public element of today's meeting will be live streamed and will be made available on the City of London Corporation's YouTube channel for up to 1 civic year. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. Over to you, Chair.
Thank you, and good morning, everybody. And Karen, I can see you've got something with your sound. Is that okay? Can you hear us? Fabulous. So welcome to today's meeting on the 10th of September, and all to all public viewing members via YouTube channel, and obviously to all our members here today. If I wanted to just say a few opening remarks, that today we're gathered here on a very auspicious occasion, which is to mark our 30th anniversary as the funding committee of the City Bridge Foundation. And as you all are aware, this year really marks a remarkable milestone in the history of our foundation. It started all in September 1995, and the charity actually took a very bold step to broaden its charitable purposes and to begin funding civil society across London. That first meeting of our funding arm, to be known as City Bridge Trust, approved 11 grants totaling £168,350. And today we celebrate not only the scale of our growth, but the depth of our impact. So over the past 3 decades, we have awarded more than £840 million to organisations working to tackle inequality and injustice across the capital, and a figure we are very proud of. Our funding has supported thousands of charities and community groups, and each one contributing to a fairer and more inclusive London. This anniversary is not just a moment to look back, but also to look forward. We are entering a new chapter in our 900-year history with the launch of our new funding policy, Standing with Londoners. This policy will sharpen our focus to not only believe that and address root causes of inequality and injustice, but actually reaffirm and commit to our support for those striving to make London a better place for all. Our funding comes from the surplus of our investments that have their origins in the tolls of which have been paid for by the old London Bridge. And it's a legacy we honour, and to serve the city with integrity, ambition and compassion. So today, on behalf of our funding committee, I want to extend our deepest thanks to all the organisations that we have partnered with over the years. Your work inspires us and your impact strengthens us and the communities we serve. And here is to the next 30 years of charitable giving. Thank you. And with that, I'd like to open the meeting.
Thank you, Chair. Item 1, apologies. Holly Piper has sent apologies for lateness.
Thank you.
And item 2, I have not received any notice of any declarations from members, unless any members wish to make one now.
Cliff as well.
Thank you. There's a number of points where Unlimited is involved in a potential fund. I was CEO at Unlimited previously, and I'm still part of the alumni, so I'll stay out of anything on that. Thank you.
Thank you, Cliff. Sasha?
Thank you, Chair. I have a standing interest in item 16, the School for Social Entrepreneurs as a previous employee, and also to know I am now a director of the board of Collaboration Circle Reference Propel.
Thank you for that.
Excellent, thank you. Here at item 3, we have the public minutes and non-public summary of the meeting held on the 9th of June 2025. These are to agree.
If there are no further questions, Sasha?
There has been a clarification requested, and it is on page 12. So we will amend the minutes. There is this was to do with the strategic initiative migration exchange. There was a query received on the accuracy of the 52% of NHS workers in London were migrants who were subject to NRPF policy. The 52% of NHS workers is correct, but it was not correct that they're subject to NRPF policy, so that will be amended. Thank you.
Thank you, and noted. So With no other further clarifications or questions on the minutes, that has been read and agreed.
Thank you, Chair. And for item 4, we have the outstanding actions to be taken as read. And at item 5, we have the Chief Funding Director's update report, which can be found at pages 15 to 22 of your agenda pack. This is an item for information.
Sasha, if you'd like to introduce the item, please.
Thank you, Chair. I'll take the item as read. Just a couple of things I'd like to highlight, please. I would highlight that it is significant to note that all of our Bridging Divides applications have now been assessed. There are just a handful of applications where there is a decision that is required, which is a significant achievement. We have processed 928 applications over the last 10 months. And my thanks to everyone in the team who have been involved in that. It is a significant undertaking. The only other thing I would like to highlight is that Abby Summers and myself attended the Freedom Ceremony for 3 members of the Lived Experience Advisory Group who have worked with us to co-design the suicide prevention programme. It was an incredibly moving day and they were absolutely thrilled to be nominated. So my thanks to the Chair and Deputy Chair for the nomination, of which was very much appreciated. And just a reminder that to members that there is safeguarding training today, which is hybrid, so you can attend in person in Committee Room 3 or online at 2:30. Thank you very much. Happy to answer any questions.
So if I may open up to any questions online, in the room. So just to also echo your point about the number of applications that have been processed, and the board also extends their thanks to everybody involved to get through those. Thank you. Great, let's move on.
Thank you, Chair. Item 6 is the budget monitoring report for CBF funding activities, period ended 30th June 2025, which is for information and can be found on pages 23 to 28 of your agenda pack. Thank you, Chair.
So Sasha or Nathan, maybe?
It is for information. Myself and Nathan are available to answer any questions.
So I take it any questions online and any questions in the room. So from that, I assume no further questions.
Thank you, Chair. And item 7 is the grant funding activity report, which is for information and can be found at pages 29 to 58 of your agenda pack. Thank you, Chair.
So item 7, is that being introduced by Sasha or?
Thank you, Chair. It's our standard grant funding activity report where we highlight the awards made, the declinations and any variations we've made. I would like to say that there are appendices to this report, one of which is heat maps that I think has been raised previously in this committee. As we are now implementing our new policy Standing with Londoners, we will be having standardised templates and reporting that is aligned to our new policy. So we will be revising some of the items in terms of the appendices that come to this committee in the future.
Can I just follow up on that? Was there any understanding on how you would compare previous heat maps to current heat maps, considering the change in Standing with Londoners policies versus previous policies?
In a way, we're not comparing like with like, but it is still important for us to understand geographical spread and also to understand incidents of deprivation in terms of making sure that we are having that coverage and reaching those boroughs. As I say, we are working on standardised reporting that we will bring back to committee, but it will be for us to monitor where we have what we've awarded to certain boroughs over a previous period of time, and also what we will, and that will be something that we will monitor.
I did want to bring in our co-optees in case there were any other templates that are used or that you're aware of that perhaps could also be available to us to review in this manner, because we are now taking a step towards implementing.
And I also have Emma Horrigan online, who is our data analyst, so I'm sure Emma would be happy to speak to that.
fantastic. I won't labour the point, but just as a comment for myself, in case there was something that could be contributed towards the template or to review the template.
Thank you, Chair. Sorry, my camera's not working. Yeah, I think the new reporting template, I haven't had full sight of the latest version, but I believe it's going to be quite comprehensive for the team. I suppose to potentially turn it around, it would be what would be most useful for you to know about our reporting on the new Standing with Londoners. Obviously, we're going to keep the geographical information so we can still produce that spread across London information. But yeah, we'd be interested if you've got any report formats that you think are useful or anything particularly you would like to highlight in those reports. Please do feed that back to Sasha, and I can work on developing the reports accordingly. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. And members do. Oh, Karen, hello.
The only thing that occurs to me when I look at it is that we take the IMD deprivation statistics as a kind of borough-wide thing, and it may be too granular, but we know within each borough there's one side where, you know, across London that has quite a lot of privileged and one side that doesn't. And I wonder whether to what extent, knowing how our funding goes to the wards that are actually in that deprivation as opposed to wards that wouldn't necessarily meet the IMD deprivation stats. But I know that becomes really complicated, but on the surface of it, even though you're tackling, you know, we can see what boroughs are being tackled by their overall deprivation stats. It's not necessarily telling us who the recipients of the activity we're funding are in terms of those wards. So I throw that, I'm not asking for a response because I realise it could just be a horrible data analysis task.
Yeah, I will come in on that just to say, as you've guessed, the data's quite difficult when you get to those granules. So I do recognise that the IMD is both quite out of date. The data's from 2019, but the government has decided to redo its approach. So that's why we're sticking with what we had. And we could re-look at the data to present it in terms of, say, the percentage of boroughs in the top 10 most deprived within each area. I have done a little bit of analysis on wards rather than boroughs, so if that's of interest, I could share that with you, so you could see what's possible with our data. But because we don't ask for the granular detail in terms of where the beneficiaries are, that's the key piece of information that we need to sort of interpolate, I guess, from whatever else they've told us, which kind of forms another bit of difficulty on top of the difficult analysis.
And it may be that can't be led on the sort of overview that you give us, which as it stands I find quite useful, but maybe it suggests something about the grant reporting, because again it's difficult at the point of awarding a grant. People will speculate or project what wards they want to think about, but there may be an element of analysis on the report back stages, which would be retrospective and maybe could be annual, where you could see, you know, with where people are and where our money's going to in terms of postcode kind of stuff. I just throw that out because that may be more aligned to actually reporting back on how funding's being used and the kind of social impact piece, which is a different framework to this set of data.
Thank you. We're just developing the impact and learning report for Standing with Londoners now, so it's the perfect time to raise this, and I'll make sure that we're looking at the possibilities of capturing that data, because you're absolutely right that once they've done it, it's much better than saying, oh, we plan on reaching people from here, there or anywhere. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for that. Thank you, Karen. Rebecca?
Thank you, Chair. Just briefly, we can come back to this at a later item on item 12, but just to flag on point 50 there, we set out some of the headlines in terms of how we want to improve reporting on our portfolio. So that would include quantitative data, such as grant numbers, values, distribution, along with kind of qualitative insights that we'll be gathering. So impact, trends, challenges and learning. So that's something as we develop standing with Londoners in terms of our oversight of the portfolio in each of our programmes, we know we need to have that information to help inform decision making around grants, but also so that we can report back to committee. So I'd really like to bring that back to committee for your kind of input as well.
And just to follow up on that, that's not a departure in our usual standards anyway. Yeah. So it's something that we're familiar with as we go ahead. Thank you all for that. Thank you all for your contributions on that. So we can move on. Thank you, Callum.
Item 8 is questions on matters relating to the work of the committee and any other business that the chair considers urgent.
I've received none in advance, and anyone in the floor or online? No, so
okay.
No further questions. Thank you.
Item 9 is relating to the exclusion of the public. Do members agree to approve the motion to exclude the public?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.